How's everybody? That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm sure you're trying to figure out what I'm about to do. Just know, first and foremost, you're not eating this. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. I don't I don't necessarily have anything for you to taste unless you like raw meat. So but we're gonna have some fun. So I'm gonna end up putting this mic down, so hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna try to project my voice as much as possible. So I can kind of get through this. I'm more of a hands-on person. I don't have a slide. I don't have a video. But we're going to just straight go for it, okay? Hold on. Oh, I got a Janet Jackson mic. Hold tight. Thanks. I should have told you that before, yep. Here. Is that cool? Or you want back pocket? Good? Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. All right, so I got to raise this up because I feel like I'm going to just keep going like this. Hold on. Okay, I'm Chef Nikki Steward. As before, I do celebrity chef services, which is always very interesting to people. I'm going to give you a little bit of a story on how I got started in this game, how I developed really just kind of my love for all things creative, not necessarily culinary to begin with. When I was putting this whole thing together and I was thinking about manifest and I was thinking about creating and that whole thing, it took me back to my childhood. So putting a few of these things together, give me a second, I'm going to set some stuff up. When I was in the 4th grade, I was like a science fair nut, like completely enjoyed doing science fairs. One of my very first science fairs was to recreate a heart attack, essentially. So I was like super into it. I was like, all right, so if I get a heart, so my mom took me to a butcher. So we got a heart. And then we got these little tubes, right? We put some chicken fat in there, and then we put a little bit of colored water to simulate blood, right? And so somehow I finagled if I, kind of pumped the heart a little bit, and then the water, like the little blood, would come up and get stopped and blocked by the chicken fat, which were the arteries, right? So I had this whole situation going on. So, in talking about my creative journey, I'm going to start with the heart. Okay. Anybody like beef? I got a whole lot of it here for you. So, this is a cattle heart. So, clearly it's very large. Extremely large. Hold it up. Well, I will hold it up. It doesn't smell the best either, but. So, and a lot of people have never probably seen this up front and in person. But I took something like this and recreated this whole situation. So in my journey throughout my life, I never wanted to be a chef, right? I always wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted to be some sort of surgeon, something in the science field, this, that, and the third. So every single thing I did, I felt was more science-based and not more or less creative. And I was in this space growing up where, your parents kind of hone you into a direction. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a surgeon, this and that. My idol, who I met and have a signed book by, is Dr. Benjamin Carson. Not anymore. Okay? Not anymore, but I used to think he was. I mean, his story is very intriguing to say the least. Now his own personal and political situation, that's on him. If he had a major sucker attack, I'm gonna just be real with you. So within that, I find myself often in these places where I am influenced by my environment, not necessarily by my choice. You know what I mean? Like, my mother is in the medical field. My father owns a construction company. He always wanted us to do better. Of course, your parents always want you to do better than them. never was able to really almost think for myself. I knew I was a smart kid. I finished the 5th grade, and I went to the 8th grade. I skipped 2 whole grades. And I'm like in the 8th grade at 11 years old, which is pretty young, I would say. So going through that whole process, I knew that I was smart, but I didn't love school as well. So fast forward to college. I go to Ohio State, V. All right, go Bucks. So I'm at Ohio State. I get to my grad advisors. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to be a neurosurgeon. They're like, all right, cool. Well, you'll probably be done by, like 35-ish. Now, I'm 36 currently. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, I need to be able to make some money at some point. So what else can I do? Can I be a pediatrician? General surgery, anything? They start going through the timeline. I'm like, all right, cool. What can I get out of here in like 5? You know what I mean? Because I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I just want to just work and live life. So I decided on pharmacy. So I go into the pharmaceutical program at The Ohio State University. I get through that. I get into the real world. So now I find myself working for CVS. Namely, if you're from Columbus, I'm on the corner of Livingston and Barnett. That was my pharmacy. Ugh. Like, I can't explain to you the things that would occur in that pharmacy. Just not necessarily the neighborhood. It was just, just unfortunate things. Seniors who don't have the proper medical, pharmaceutical insurance. And it was just, a lot of it was very disheartening. And I'm in this box. So literally, like my day, this is a big knife, but my day is usually spent like this: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Next, that's my day, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. usually. And it works for some people. But I knew in my heart that was just not me. I knew that was like not something that was completely fulfilling and soul satisfying. So I said, okay, cool. Let me figure out what else I can do. I took a sabbatical from work, and I was just like, I'm just going to just start doing odds and ends jobs. Trust me, like the hustle in me, I'm not Jamaican. But I feel like somewhere in there, somebody just put that root in there and was like, bruh, you just going to hustle the heck out of everything. So I was in sales, pharmaceutical sales. I was a coach for almost 10, 15 years for high school sports, basketball and track, official for small colleges and high schools. So I was a basketball official. So I was just really trying to figure this whole thing out. But in the interim, right underneath there, I was working on my catering business. And I was working on honing my skills as like a budding chef, doing research. What could I do? Where can I go? So I started reaching out to other chefs in the industry. And I just started saying, hey, basically can I work for you for free? Like, what can I do? Let me get a couple hours here on the late night. I'm working 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing prep work. Eventually, I found myself going overseas to train. Most recently, I went to Thailand, and I worked with a chef in Thailand, learning some Thai cuisine, which was really cool. So those flavors, for me, is something that, especially I have this thing with Black folks and what we like to eat and what we're willing to try. So that was one of those things. I was like, I got to branch out and give more exposure to other people of ethnicities. So that was part of one of my goals. So once I kind of got through that whole thing of trying to figure out what I want to do, trying to figure out what was the best move and how to maneuver it, and realizing at my heart of hearts, the reason why I was so unsatisfied with my life as far as my career choice is because I had this creative side that I really had never tapped into. And I didn't want to go to culinary school. That was one thing. People were like, where'd you go to culinary school? I'm like, I didn't. That was intentional. I didn't want to go to school anymore. I'm hands-on. I knew I was a quick learner. And I have a science degree. So within that, a lot of that pharmacy, compounds, mixing, measuring, it's science all the way through. Flavor profiles, seasonings, you just kind of mix and match all of those things. So With that being said, I had to get back to my heart, realizing where I needed to tap into, realizing that there was something innate within me that was on fire, and I needed to actually say to myself, this is me. It's not what you want me to do, this is me. Trust me, my father said, ain't no money in that. Trust me. I'm like, now he's like, oh, okay. So now where you about to go again? Now who you working for? Now you said you was working for Snoop Dogg, right? Oh, okay. Now bring me something back. Like that's my dad now. You know what I mean? And my mom's like, just signed up on Facebook just so she can monitor my Facebook account. So she's really kind of in that process. She's like, initially she was just like, I really wasn't sure. You should just get a 9 to 5. You have kids. You need to support your kids. It's going to be hard work. I'm like, no, you got to let me do this. This is where my heart is. So, therefore, that's how I get back to from, as a child, my little science fair project became very relevant to me in my adult life. All right, so I'm going to bring something else out that you guys are... Let me know if this smells. Do you guys smell this?
I think just you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's rough out here. It's tough. All right. Anybody know what that is? All right. So, if I really wish you could feel this. If you guys want to come up here, I have gloves and stuff if you want to feel it. It's so interesting to feel a tongue of an animal. It's almost like, I'm getting ready to put it in, it's almost like you know what a giraffe tongue looks like, right? And you can only imagine how rough that feels, right? So this is like intense. Okay, so the tongue. The tongue is an interesting thing. The tongue symbolizes a lot of things for me because it symbolizes taste. It symbolizes words, whether they hurt or whether they're productive, or whether they're critical, helpful. So when I look at that, I think about, again, I go back to my journey of what people said to me and how that molded me. And in those words, and how the tongue became very important to me. Yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I burnt my tongue. Eating something I shouldn't have. I don't even want to tell you what I was eating because it was not along healthy lines. But I was so anxious to eat it, and I was so quick to put it in my mouth, and my tongue is completely scorched right at the top. This really feels like a burnt tongue. But the thing about the tongue is that when you burn your tongue, that taste for a few days, it gets real funky. You're constantly like moving your mouth and like trying to scrape that feeling off of your tongue, but you can't get it off until probably 5 days later. It just kind of just goes away. So I always have felt like when the tongue is scorched or burned, you just have to regroup. And I've always gone back to that because I've had to regroup so many times. As a small business owner, as a mother, as a woman, as an African American, that regroup is real, okay? I'm gonna touch on the small business, entrepreneurial startup regroup. If anyone in here is in a small business or startup, that drawing board is critical. I have changed my business plan and my business model over and over and over again. The type of clients I want to reach, the type of market I want to be in, all of that stuff, I've had to hit the reset. And a lot of times I have to hit the reset because I don't have any more money left. Because it's like, okay, well, I was making all this money over here, but now there's a new trend. So now I got to put more money on over here. So the reset in the small business area is really critical, okay? And the reset in general in my story, because I'm gonna get to that, the reason why I'm here now. All right, 2 more things. We got some feet popping. These little guys right here. Hey, by the way, these make really good stock if you're like trying to make good chicken stock. Oops. All right. Now, pig feet, I'm gonna give you an interesting tip. I don't eat meat. I don't. I just don't because I've been a vegetarian. Recently, I just started eating chicken like a couple months ago. I've had this thing for chicken wings. But usually, I haven't eaten meat in almost 12 years. And people are always amazed about me being a chef and not eating meat. But the feet, this is how I get to where I gotta go. This is me moving to the next level. So I got little tiny feet, and then I got little big feet. Right now, I'm tiny feet. I'm on my way. So the cool thing about this is my name has kind of like started to circulate amongst other celebrities. I've worked for Dave Chappelle. I've worked for a lot of NFL players doing their food prep, meal prep. I've worked for rappers. Now I'm headed to LA on tomorrow. I have an event with Snoop Dogg on Wednesday. So, and it's a full studded 100 to 120 A, B list celebrity event. So I'm on my way to, this is my little feet. I'm getting there. I'm getting to these pig feet eventually. But that movement in how I walk and how I design my brand and how people look at me as far as being creative. Now, the event with Snoop Dogg, I have a whole new genre of food that we're speaking of. So we're speaking of fully cannabis-infused meals. So that is the new wave. Okay. So that wave, with me, I just know how to cook really good ass food. That's it. So you asked me to add cannabis to it. All right, we good. Simple preparation, infuse, keep it moving. So within that multifaceted part of my business, celebrity chef services, I do meal prep services here in town. You can go to my website, chefnikkisteward.com. You'll always find recipes, events coming up, meal prep. You can order food for your family or for yourself. I do catering, regular stuff. I'm not always doing celebrity stuff. I live here in Columbus. So I'm constantly building my business here and then building it outside of here. So within saying that, you can always, I always encourage people to like check for me on pop-ups. I do pop-ups everywhere. I love a good pop-up because I can change the menu anytime I want to. So my mainstay, I do like to do a lot of Creole, a lot of French cuisine. But I mean, you ask me, I'm used to people telling me what they want to eat. So when you tell me what you want to eat, I'm gonna make it. So I'll start doing some more pop-ups around city, probably, Brothers Drake, I'm gonna start doing a series of pop-ups. I'm doing a pop-up next week at the day party. If you wanna come through the day party, I'll be there. And, you always can catch me in different facets. I'm also the official chef for the African American Men's Wellness Initiative. So those things, we do programs throughout the year, cooking with dads, things of that sort, where we bring Black men in with their families, show them how to cook healthy meals, $20 or less, how you can feed a family of 4, et cetera, et cetera. Those things will take place at the Parks and Recs around the city. And then moving forward, I'm working with several publications. Mary Jane Magazine is a magazine that's hired me to do the LA event, which is a cannabis editorial magazine. So, and I'll just be doing recipes and just kind of shooting that content out there and hanging out with people. It's a job, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm not gonna be sitting back there eating all that stuff because I'll never make it through the night. So I do my job, I don't eat, I don't drink, I eat before, I leave. Y'all have fun, God bless y'all, good night. That's where I'm at, you know what I mean? So other than it being a job, it is clearly a very creative process. I've walked you through these steps as far as me manifesting my creative process and becoming the person that I am today and branding myself. I'm always rebranding, I'm always co-branding. It's just all these things that I'm trying to make sure I cover. So if you have any questions, I'm here. If you want to feel this beef tongue, I'm here. So
Give Chef Nikki a round of applause. So we have time for maybe 2 questions, 1 and then 2.
So you like the science part of cooking. Do you do anything with molecular gastronomy?
sometimes I do. I definitely do. I tend to be like more of the old school on that. I mean, I get into it just as like an as-needed basis, doing, like with the foams and stuff like that. Some of it just looks nasty to me, you know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like, I kind of know my lane. That ain't it, you know what I mean? And I like people to eat. And those things are like, ooh, 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 ooh. And I want people to actually feel good and enjoy their food. So I don't get into it a whole lot, but every now and then, like my sous chef, like they like to try to bring in new stuff. But we do use new technologies in food, sous vide, and other things like that to get things done. Yep, sure.
Just really wanted to be able to go ahead and feel that tongue.
Come on, come on.
We have about 2 minutes. If you want to feel the tongue as well,
You want a
and
glove
feet
or
and
no?
whatnot. Wait, what is the first thing? I missed that one. Chef, what's the first one?
This is a cow heart.
Okay. Come on up. No brave soldiers out here? No?
This is a cow heart.
But I promise, if she cooked it, you'd want to eat it. Trust
Look
me.
at that. Check that out. That's different, isn't it? I'll get you a glove.
Don't scare me.
Yo,
Are you doing any pop-ups in Cincinnati?
you know what? That's my hometown. I am born and raised in Cincinnati. So for sure, I'll be doing some pop-ups in Cincinnati. Just follow me on social media, which is just Good Steward 1. That's my social media handle on Instagram. Hey, there's a box of gloves in the room. If somebody can grab them, and that way everybody can come up and get their feels. But yeah, I'll be doing pop-ups in Cincinnati with not Here to Disrupt, with Ohio Against the World.
Man. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Floyd and I are going to team up for some pop-ups in Cincinnati. So check you out. The gloves are coming. He was just like, forget it. Here, just wipe
Yeah, I
it here.
gave up.
So there you go. So anybody else have any questions? My Instagram, just Good Steward 1, and it's Steward with a D. So my website is Chef Nikki Steward, STEWARD as in David.com.